The NFL is back, and FanDuel's got everything you need to play your game, from same-game parlays to live betting. Right now, new customers bet $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if you win. 21 plus in present and select states. 18 plus in Kentucky and Wyoming. Must be first online real money wager. $5 deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See full terms at FanDuel.com/sportsbook. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
This episode is brought to you by LifeLock. When you visit the doctor, you probably hand over your insurance, your ID, and contact details. It's just one of the many places that has your personal info. And if any of them accidentally expose it, you could be at risk for identity theft. LifeLock monitors millions of data points a second. If you become a victim, they'll fix it, guaranteed, or your money back. Save up to 40% your first year at LifeLock.com/podcast. Terms apply.
The number 4 Oregon Ducks are about to join the Breakfast Club along with Bender, Claire, Allison, Brian, and Andrew when they play a 9 a.m. game Saturday at Northwestern. But I don't believe the Wildcats will be as hard-ass as Principal Vernon was in the movie The Breakfast Club. Welcome to the Ducks Confidential podcast. I am Aaron Fentress of the Oregonian OregonLive, and George Wrighster is my co-host, and he looks befuddled by my intro. George, did you not see and enjoy and love The Breakfast Club?
Bro, you know, I've seen The Breakfast Club once. It's not a movie I'm turning on again, and you're dating yourself massively, sir. Massively.
I think I was a freshman in college when that thing came out. It is a classic, but, you know, I get it. We're only separated by a couple years, but before we get to our show, you know, you are host of the Unafraid Show, and you've been working, doing some stuff with the CW, and you got your debut this week during number 18 South Florida, against number 5 Miami. How pumped are you?
Man, I'm super juiced. You couldn't ask for better than that, because you know how many people are going to be watching. Like, instead of maybe like in between 500,000 and 1 million people watching, you might be pushing up to 1.5, 2. You never know. So
you never know.
It's exciting.
Are you gonna wear a T-shirt, Unafraid Show? Ducks Confidential?
Nah, it's TV. We must be suited.
You must be suited. All right. Before we continue, let's get to our ad read. Today's episode of Ducks Confidential is brought to you by Travel Lane County, an organization that promotes travel and tourism in the Eugene, Cascades, and Coast region. Ducks fans can find out more at www.eugenecascadescoast.org. All right. Before we get to the game, which I think we're both going to agree is going to be a blowout, let's talk about the news that came out this week. The Oregonian's very own Bill Orem spoke to Rob Mullins, who said that he doesn't see a path to playing Oregon State next season. However, they plan to resume the series in 2027. The reason why next season will probably be on hold, or likely will be on hold, is because both teams have their non-conference games scheduled. Oregon, for example, will host Boise State, host Portland State, and have to go to Oklahoma State, which means I might have to go there and endure another beatdown like that. But you know, I'll make do. The last interruption of this 128-game series came. It started in 1894. It came during the World War II. 1942 to 1944. So, what say you about this situation? I like history. I can be nostalgic, as you just saw with the Breakfast Club reference. So I kind of like to see the streak going 80 straight years. But, 1 year pause and resume it. I like it. What do you think? I like that they're resuming it, I should say.
I believe that the game is important, right? So it's important historically for the state of Oregon, all of this stuff. But the fact that these teams are on such different wavelengths and planes and points, it's actually taken away a lot of the, gravitas and excitement around the game, because this is going to be a beatdown. And it sucks. And honestly, you remember on the previous pods when I was talking about Oklahoma State and everything, where I don't feel bad for them and everything. I feel bad for Oregon State, and I feel bad for Washington State, because what happened to them was 100% wrong. And it sucks. Like it's actually one of the biggest travesties in college football, to be honest. And then the Cal and Stanford are over in the ACC. It sucks as well. So part of me doesn't want to play the game because Oregon State's a proud university and proud football team, blue collar mentality, and just to turn that into basically a bye game, it feels offensive. Like it feels offensive as an Oregon person to Oregon State. Like it just feels like a. So I hate it that it's come to this. But if the people want the game played, then the game should be played. But I could understand at least until there's some, like there's less disparity in the game in terms of, resuming the series. So I feel both ways about it. I can see both sides.
Yeah, I agree with almost everything you just said. On one hand, Oregon's going to play teams that they're going to smoke. Oregon State's going to try and play someone good every year, outside of conference. So they might as well play each other. But like you said, there's such a disparity now. So it wasn't that long ago, right, where Oregon State pulled off 2 upsets. They won 2 out of 3. They won in 20 and they won in 22. They came back from down 31-10, right? And there was a disparity there in resources and things like that. But Oregon State under Jonathan Smith had built things up.
Yeah, but
pulled off the upset. But now the disparity is even greater because of NIL and transfer portal. So Oregon can fill in holes differently. And Oregon State, if they develop good players, they could all be gone. As a matter of fact, Oregon can take their players anytime they want to, really. So it could get uglier.
I mean, Oregon State's kicker is literally on Oregon's team.
Right. Exactly. And So, but the pack is being rebuilt, Maybe if things are balanced out around the country in terms of how much you can spend on rosters, we can get back to a point where teams like Oregon State are going to have a puncher's chance every so often to upset Oregon. If Oregon's down one year, maybe they have a problem at quarterback, they couldn't fill, boom, you could get upset again. So I'm glad they're going to continue it, but I agree with you. If it becomes a situation where it's 55-10 every single year, then that kind of sullies the history of that rivalry.
Yeah. I mean, and then the question is it now a bye game?
Right. Well, is that a bad thing for Oregon State?
Is it a game where Oregon has to pay Oregon State to play Oregon State now? Is
that bad, though, for Oregon State? Or is it just...
It's not bad for Oregon State, but it also is like wow. Wow. I don't know. I look at Oregon State as a proud university, a university of hardworking, good people and all of that stuff. And you don't want pity. You don't want sympathy. You don't want that. And I just wouldn't want it to feel like that. Yeah, charity to them. Like, yeah, we'll give you $1 million to play you. Like, yeah, it's fine. I don't like it.
Yeah. So, I say you continue it, see how it goes, right? If it becomes a bloodbath every year for 15 years and whatever. But, I'm looking at this, Oregon won the last 2, but prior to that, Oregon State won 4 out of 8. And 2 out of 3, 3 out of 8, 3 out of 7, and 2 out of 3.
Yeah,
so,
some were the
but prior to that, when the blur got rolling, Oregon won, looks like 8 in a row. But before that, Oregon State won, But times have changed, right? Things have changed, so we agree on that. Damn it, I hate that. All right, let's move on to something else. The 9 a.m. kickoff I referenced. Okay, so Dan Lanning and corner Ife Obadegwu, I think I said that right.
Yes.
Talked about it this week. So Iffy said that they've been waking up at 4 a.m., get to the facility by 5 a.m., and they're on the practice field anyway at 9 a.m., which is what Lanning said. We're a 9 a.m. practicing team anyway, so playing a game at 9 a.m. won't be a big deal. I don't believe you've ever experienced a 9 a.m. biological clock kickoff in your career. I know I never did, but as long as you're prepared for it, great.
The earliest that I ever had was... See, it's weird, right? Because yes, I have on some level but I was playing in Jacksonville, which kicks off in the NFL. You would kick off at 1 p.m. Eastern time, which is 10 Pacific. But I was living on the East Coast, so it was 1 a.m. So it was 1 to me. So like a West Coast team going out to Jacksonville to go play, having to play a 1 o'clock game. They experienced that. or if they're playing in London, times are all jacked up, or Brazil and all of that stuff. But in the pros, it's expected. And in college, when you got to deal with schools, you got to deal with, a lot of things that aren't necessarily that the pros don't have to deal with, then it's harder.
Definitely.
But here's the thing, though, is that you have Michigan State and their fans crying about an 8:00 kick / 11:00 kick Pacific time and 11:00 to them. Well, think about all of the Pac-12 teams that they're like, nobody's going to be able to watch it. And I was, welcome to the club, fam. Welcome to the club. That's why Christian McCaffrey didn't win the Heisman Trophy over Derrick Henry. That's why, like it's been happened to West Coast teams so many times, but our underranked, underrated players don't get the recognition because of that.
Exactly. The other interesting thing about this game, 12,000, I think, seat stadium because of remodeling right by the lake. Should be an interesting atmosphere, almost small college, high school-esque in a way. Lanning was asked about that. For Lanning, it's like, fewer fans doesn't hurt us, obviously. But I think it'll be kind of an interesting setting just given the fact that we're used to seeing Oregon in 50, 60.
Oh, the lake is nice. The lake is nice. It is where their stadium is. Well, where their new stadium is going to be is good. Like, it's going to be electric. Their new stadium is going to be like A1. Their practice field is literally right on the lake. I went on a trip with my son there. I like Northwestern, but yeah, they're nowhere near. And if you see their coach this week, he did the complete opposite of Mike Gundy last week. He was like, man, Oregon's so great. They're amazing. When you turn on the film, you just look and you see why they're so good. And, and we have a mountain we have a mountain to climb in front of us. So he's just like staying out of the way, hoping that Oregon can come out flat and they can keep the game close and all of that stuff.
Don't poke the bear.
No. Because Dan is the type of guy to run up the score on you. He's the type of guy to keep it. Hey, but I love that because I remember people asking me about like intensity and did I ever go soft on anybody? I was like, no. If my mama come out there, I push her down too.
Damn.
And people were like, oh, man. And I remember one of my friends, my mom was somewhere near, and he was like, yo, do you know that George said he would push you down if you came out on the field? And she was like, good. That's what he should do. And I was like, exactly.
That's
see,
my mama.
Like you didn't tell her. There wasn't no damn breaking news.
She shouldn't have put on the gear and got in front of you.
Exactly.
You got a router or you got, blocked down on her to clear out for the outside run play, right? That's just life. All right. I wonder if David Braun told all the media, man, just don't ask me any questions about NIL and about Oregon, please. Just don't even ask me anything on the radio show. Don't even ask me. I don't even want to get into that. All right.
Yes.
Speaking of the game, first of all, did you notice I told you I was going to get a helmet for every Big Ten team they play. I got Northwestern right here.
Look at it.
Against
hey.
Oregon,
are you going to pull it? Dan Lanning and Inglorious Bastards, the helmet after the game?
No, I'm not. All right, so look, Tulane beat Northwestern 23-3. Northwestern bounced back, beat Western Illinois FCS program 42-7. QB Preston Stone transferred from the SMU where he had some success, threw 4 picks against Tulane, but had 3 touchdown passes against Western Illinois. They got a decent rushing attack, 200 yards per game. Cam Porter, good back, senior, 7.6 yards per carry. Got a decent receiver, Griffin Wild, 11 catches, 158. I mean, I got this as a threat level as a 0.5 only because it's a Big Ten team. I just see no pathway for them to win this game unless for some reason Ducks turn it over 6 or 7 times. What do you think? It's going to take at least 6 or 7 turnovers, I think, for them to lose this game.
I would highly. I think 6 or 7 is aggressive. Well, okay.
It would
as long as 6 or 7, if none of them get run back for a touchdown.
I think 2 could get run back and you still win 50-28. Yeah,
it's going to be tough to lose the game. So I'm going to threat level 0. I just don't see a path. I mean, but. Okay, hold up. Never mind. I'm going to go a 1 because there is. Okay, so the only path I see to even a close game is that something happens to Dante Moore, and it's questionable whether Austin Novosad's even going to travel to the game. Whatever's going on with him, he may miss this week too. So then you would end up with Luke Moga playing, and Oregon fans know after that Kansas State bowl game what can happen if you don't have competent quarterback play.
But I like Moga. Moga's nice. No?
Okay. All right.
I mean, he can run. That's the thing is, if you have a question mark at quarterback,
true,
who can run, then
true.
Get him out of the pocket.
This is very true. So you can script the game plan because Coda and whoever came in after in that when we were up 31 against Kansas State in the bowl in the Alamo Bowl, was it Costa that came in? Whoever it was that came in that game was absolute.
The 2012 season?
Yeah, I think that's when it was.
That should have been Ben.
Oh no, I'm sorry. It was TCU. It was TCU. It was not.
Oh, you're talking about when they blew the lead.
Yes.
Yeah, that was Lockie. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So if you're getting and Moga can at least run the football where Costa could. I mean, well, who was it?
Lockie. Jeff Lockie.
Yeah, Lockie couldn't. So
right.
So yeah.
Yeah, different animal. And you could Stein can be creative. Because he ran a couple plays the other day where he rolled out to a drag or what have you, and it was easy read, easy throw. So it's either run or he's wide open to hit him.
Yes.
Right? So, and then the fact that your O-line should be dominating, you still should be able to run the ball well. You could probably, so maybe you don't win 55-10, but you still, I think, still put up high 30s probably with that kid. Again, it was a small sample size, but at least you saw.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Make some things happen.
Yeah, one.
Okay.
You are very right. There is something that he can do no matter what.
Right. What do you want to see this week? I'll be honest with you, man. These two games, I mean, they're so lopsided. We're like look. Oh, Dante threw a couple passes downfield. Right? That's sort of where we are. There was some good coverage, but against weak quarterback play. So, what do you want to try and see this week from this team? Because at least this is the best quarterback they will have played by far. He's had some success in his career.
I want to see dominance against the run because Northwestern is going to try to run the football in this game, and they're going to be better than Oklahoma State and better than Montana State. And then on offense, I want to see people being moved by the offensive line and being able to run the ball at a consistently high basis. Because if you can do that versus Northwestern, because Northwestern isn't the best team, but they are, they play hard.
Yeah.
So when you get a bunch of try hard guys and some of them are very talented as well, then you can get yourself in a place where they're making plays and all this stuff if you're not bringing your A game. So I want to see them show up with that intensity every single week.
All right. I don't disagree. All right. Well, I mean, I don't have much more to say about this game. It is what it is. So looking around the nation, though, this week there's a lot more interesting games than there were last week. We got Wisconsin at number 19 Bama, got number 6 Georgia at number 15 Tennessee. We talked about South Florida, Miami. Florida's trying to bounce back against number 3 LSU. Yeah. Texas A&M number 16 at Notre Dame. This is a big week in the top 25. What's the matchup other than the one you're going to be monitoring because you're going to be paid to that you're looking at most?
There are a few. So the first one would be the Wisconsin-Alabama game is going to be interesting just because Alabama's favored by 20.5 points, I think, in that game. And we saw what happened to Alabama in week 1. And historically, Wisconsin has been able to run the ball at a very high level. But they didn't run the ball. They haven't run the ball this season at a high level. Their quarterbacks played pretty good. But so I'm interested to see if Alabama can bring that juice again like they had last week versus ULM. But they just out-talented them too. Like they scored on literally every single drive that they had at the ball. That Texas A&M Notre Dame game that you mentioned, I think Notre Dame is a 6.5-point favorite in that one. Notre Dame already lost to Miami, and I know that you're not supposed to transitive property in college football.
It's dangerous.
But yes, but if Notre Dame can beat Texas A&M, I think that at that point in time we'll be looking at Notre Dame like, oh, okay, then Miami's pretty damn good then. Versus if Texas A&M wins, it'll be like, oh, Notre Dame's going to miss the college football playoff this year unless Miami and Texas A&M just run through the SEC and the ACC. So there's some interest there. And then that Georgia-Tennessee game. Georgia has dominated that series over the last 8 games. I think it's only one game maybe that hasn't been decided by at least double digits, and most of them by more than 2 touchdowns. So it'll be interesting to see that game because Georgia's run game hasn't been that great. Gunnar Stockton, there are questions about him. And then Tennessee has Joey Aguilar, who transferred from UCLA, and the switch from Nico. And there's just a lot of interest around the country this week. And then there's the Vandy, South Carolina game, which is, is Vandy for real? Is South Carolina for real? And then the last one, the last game that I have my eyes on and I'm fully watching with everything in my body is Clemson versus Georgia Tech. Because I picked Clemson to win the national championship this year, and this week I don't even have them in my top 25, Aaron.
Man, that's rough.
Bro, when I went back and watched the film versus LSU, they looked horrendous. And against Troy, same blocking issues, everything else, and it was bad. Nothing about them looks like a top 25 team, which also makes me question LSU too.
So you weren't impressed by them bouncing back against Troy and winning 27-16?
No, they were down like 17-3 at halftime or 17-6 or something. 27-16
is horrible for them.
Yeah.
That was your national title pick? Wow, we gotta examine that maybe one day. What were you thinking?
Clearly not the right thing at this point in time, but it could change. There's still plenty of time. All you got to do is win the ACC and get in. That's why this Georgia Tech game is so important.
There you go. True. All right, let's get into something that happened during the week. AP Gate. I'm not going to mention the person's name, the pollster, but this person moved Florida up a couple spots to 14. Doesn't have South Florida in their top 25, even though South Florida beat Florida. They, of course, they post what people's votes were. This person was attacked, of course, because the college football world is insane. She then made a video, ill-advised, basically saying, I'm not going to get into my process, but, it is what it is, and these things happen. It's not that big a deal. Everyone, so many votes in there that's going to balance things out, blah, 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 which I thought doubling down in that way was the wrong thing.
That was a bad move.
Yeah, it was just like, no, don't tell people it doesn't matter because people care so much about this. As you made the point last week, right? I can be all practical and logical if I want to, but at the end of the day, people want passion, and that's how they are. So if you do that, So to me, I think what happened was, and I had an
and it feels like you're not taking things seriously.
Exactly. You should be falling on your sword in that situation. Yes.
You should be like, yo, I messed up. I because we are all humans. Like if she had came out and been like, yo, I messed up, because voters have left teams off their bracket before. When I was doing my top 25 last week and I sent it to the editor to do the graphic. He hit me back, was like, yo, did you mean to leave Ohio State off? I was like, Lord have mercy. And it was a complete accident. Dude, imagine
we all need quality control, right?
Yes, imagine if I had posted that.
Man, you know what? We'd probably be hiding you out in my garage right now, witness protection program, right?
I mean, it speaks to your, even though you are human, people then will take it and attack your credibility in the case. And so, but here are some things that I found out about this young lady. So when I found out it was a woman that it happened to, I knew that there were going to be the initial get back in the kitchen. You're not qualified to talk about football because you don't have a and all of this stuff. And I'm like, that's not the case. But
now we got to bleep out that word. We're gonna bleep. Let's just make it our goal. We're gonna bleep out one word a show. Go ahead, continue.
How is that a bleep out word? That's
I don't know. It's actually going to be interesting to see. Let me tell you real quick. Back in the day, someone put piss in a quote in the Oregonian, and the editor at the time freaked out. Like, how do we get piss into the paper? So you just never know how people are going to react to these things. Today, piss could probably get in, but I don't know about that. We'll see. But go ahead, continue.
Yeah. So then I found out she's only been a full-time college football beat writer for 3 weeks. So she's just getting her feet wet, all of this stuff, and
she has an AP vote out the gate. 3 weeks, first time ever covering it.
Bro, no idea. So she had been covering college football, just not full time on a beat.
Team. Okay. That's good.
Yeah.
If she's been covering college football, then okay, she can have a vote.
Yeah. So so I've wondered, and I'm gonna have John Wilner on the pod tomorrow. So I'm gonna ask him some questions about this because he is an AP voter and he's a Heisman voter. And and one of the questions that I'm gonna have for him is, all right, like that as an AP voter, kind of like what's his process, all of this stuff, and then kind of. When you look around, are you guys ever like shocked? Because I wonder, because I know that AP writers are typically, like, for the most part, they're literal writers and they cover beats and all of this stuff. So these are professionals who have devoted their career path to college sports, because some of them vote in basketball as well and all this stuff to college sports. So you can't question their intentions. You can't question their professionalism, anything like that. I just wonder if it would be better suited, being that so many of them are on beats, because like you've been on beats for a long time. So I guess you can answer this question too. Do you think it would be better to have somebody like me or Josh Pate or Joel Klatt actually Joel Klatt does games and stuff, but like somebody who literally covers college football on a day-to-day basis to be the voters instead of somebody who has to cover a beat, because if you're covering a beat, you have deadlines, you have stories you have to write about it, so it doesn't give you enough time to be able to
truly dive into the other teams. Yeah, so I had an AP vote back in the day. I think it was 2 years. And it's tough because you're focused on your team. And so you can't watch all the other games. And then you can't get done with your game you're covering and then go watch other, even all the highlights, really, because you have to write into the night. And when I was covering the Ducks, I had to then drive home, right? So I get home at 2 a.m. or whatever, if it's a night game, and then I'm pouring over the things I couldn't pour over. Now, there's sometimes during the day when you're at the stadium, you can look at what's happening and try and follow it, and I would try and keep track. But during the game, you got to be focused, right? So, yeah, it is tough. I think there should be a mixture. I don't think it should be all just national people. I think it should be a mixture to have some national people in there. But the AP is going to have people within the AP umbrella. They're not going to have random people who start, working on a website or working on a YouTube channel like you do. Like, you have to be a part of the Associated Press world to get that AP vote. But yeah, it is.
How do you become part of the Associated Press?
I think it's literally news organizations that have been a part of it, like news organizations like the Oregonian, like Seattle Times, New York Times, LA Times, those kind of places, I believe.
So you have somebody like Kevin Carter has a vote now. He's a former player. He's an analyst.
Who's he work for?
CBS.
So yeah, CBS would be a part of that, almost kind of legacy meeting. Again, I don't know who all the people are. I mean, I know I think Brenna Green has an AP vote for Coin, but again, Coin is something that's been covering college football, Oregon State for decades, right? So that's sort of a legacy media type thing. But anyway, that is 100%. It's one of those things where, it's difficult to really dive into everything that's going on in the country when you have to focus your entire day on one particular team. So what I think happened is I think she got done with her work. I think it was late. She was tired. I think she said she woke up in the morning to do her poll, and I think she assumed Florida won.
Yeah,
and didn't check the score.
That's got to be the only thing. And
because if she saw Florida lost, she's not going to put them up, and she's not going to have South Florida 2-0, having beaten Florida, and not maybe bump them up. So
I mean,
to me, that's the only logical explanation.
We've seen many times though where the average of all the things, where like especially early in the season, two teams play, one team wins, and the other team's still ranked in front of them, which it just makes no sense to me when that happens.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, it comes down to everyone has different value systems. I want to show you something real quick. So I did a feature on Tatum Tuioti and his passion for volleyball. So his family, he has 6 siblings. 4 sons, counting him, are playing college football. Boise, San Diego State, Idaho State, and then, of course, him in Oregon. His dad is the D-line coach at Oregon. His mom was a college volleyball player. His oldest sister played at University of Hawaii at Hilo.
Yeah.
And then he has 2 sisters playing at Sheldon High School who are probably destined to play in college as well.
Okay.
So going to OregonLive, fascinating story, because Tatum – when I brought up volleyball, his eyes lit up. He literally loves volleyball as much as football. If he were 6'6", and could play volleyball, he'd probably be playing college football. Or college volleyball. I even said a spike on someone that they can't return, or a sack, and he was like, but he went with sack.
Yeah,
so anyway,
but the crazy part, if he were playing in college, he probably wouldn't even be a hitter. Which is crazy.
He'd be right. He wouldn't be tall.
He would be playing in the back row probably.
Exactly. But at 6'4", 265, he probably picked the right path. But anyway, then yesterday I sat down with Jaden Lamar. I'm doing a feature on him. So I'm sure you dealt with this too. Turf burns. So he walks out. Look at this. Can you see that?
Yep.
2 horrific. Looks like he got bit by a shark, bro.
That's
can I take a picture
horrific,
of that,
bro?
Dude, you gotta see. I'll send it to you. It's bad.
The old AstroTurf used to be way worse.
Okay, that's what I'm gonna say. So when I played at Portland State, the stadium here had old AstroTurf. It was horrible.
Yeah.
So, dude, we used to cut the ends of socks and you pull them up. So you know the Allen Iverson sleeve? I started that. At least we were doing that in the 80s at Portland State to protect ourselves from turf burns. And then we would do the same thing with extra long socks. So did you protect yourself against turf burns, or were you like not as afraid as I was? Because I was covered, dude. Like my whole body was covered.
I used to wear like a little
a strip.
We changed to we only had the AstroTurf my freshman year. And then we changed to the field turf. So once we changed to the field turf, And then we changed. It was funny because, we changed to the field turf. And then the next year they changed the field turf again because the one that we got was garbage.
Garbage. Well, okay. So you were more of a man than
I was. They literally put in a whole new turf and then put in a whole new turf the next year because you couldn't dig your cleats down into it. It was bad.
Yeah, I was petrified of that idea. And I avoided them. I avoided. I got my degree, and I avoided turf burns. That's all that matters.
Yeah.
All right. Let's get to our predictions. What's the 28-point line? I think Ducks cover. I'm going to go 54-17.
I'm going to go touchdown, 2 field goals. I don't know if they score a tutty, though. Probably.
See, I always factor in the garbage time. Like, could something happen in the last 5 minutes? Backups come in for Oregon.
I want to give them somewhere between 9 and 13 points. So we'll go 13 to be safe, and then 52-13.
52-13. All right, that sounds reasonable.
Seven touchdowns and a field goal.
That works for me. All right. That's it for this edition of the Ducks Confidential Podcast. George is under the weather, which is why he hasn't probably been as honorary today. And we haven't disagreed. I think we got script disagreements in every week. But today's episode was brought to you by Travel Lane County, an organization that promotes travel and tourism in the Eugene, Cascades, and Coast region. Ducks fans can find out more at www.eugenecascadescoast.org. All right, George, we'll see you on the flip side of this bad boy. I'm headed to Chicago. I can't see the Cubs because they play at the wrong time, so I'm going to be there. But it'll be fun to go back to my old stomping grounds, and we'll catch you guys next week.